Hey guys, today we're going to learn about solving inequalities in real life. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to construct and solve inequalities from real life situations. Go ahead and get out your notes and be ready to learn. We're going to take real life situations and use our graphic organizer that we've been using this year that I know, I need to know, plan and work, and my solution to set this up to be able to write an inequality and solve it for each situation. Our first situation says Missy is saving to attend a week at summer camp. She needs $250 to register. Her parents will contribute $75. She needs to raise the rest of the money babysitting for $12 per hour. What is the minimum number of hours she must babysit in order to attend camp? First, the information I know is that Missy needs to save $250, but she already has $75 that her parents are going to give her, and then she's going to earn $12 per hour babysitting. What we're solving for, or really our final question, is how many hours is she going to have to babysit? Now, this is similar to setting up two-step equations that we did in the last unit. The difference here is that we're going to use an inequality symbol, and we have to pick the correct one. In this case, she can really have more than $250 by the time she needs to register. She can't have less than $250 though. So in this case, I'm going to pick to use the greater than or equal to symbol, since she can have exactly $250, or she could have more than $250 and she would just have some extra money. Also, like setting up the two-step equations here, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for a beginning rate and a multiplier. In this one, I have that she already has $75, and that is my beginning rate. Just no matter what, her parents are going to give her $75. And then my multiplier is that she earns $12 per month. That per hour is indicating multiplication. I'm going to go ahead and use H as my variable and label that H is standing for hours. That's what we're solving for, is how many hours. To set up this equation, I'm going to have 12H plus 75, and then that is greater than or equal to 250. Now we can solve this inequality to find our solution. First, I go ahead and draw my mirror down that symbol, and then I get rid of the addition or the subtraction first by undoing those with the inverse operation. Right now I have addition, so I'm going to use the inverse, which is subtraction, to subtract 75 from both sides of my inequality. After subtracting 75 from the left side, that cancels out and I'm just left with 12H is greater than or equal to 175. Now I can undo the multiplication or division by doing the inverse. In this case, 12H is 12 times H, so I'm going to divide by 12 on both sides. When I did 175 divided by 12 in my calculator, I actually got 14.583 repeating, but I don't want to write all of those decimals, so in this case, I just rounded to the nearest tenth and left it as 14.6. Now we need to determine what this means in terms of the situation. So when we solve for our variable, that tells us that that is how many hours she would need to babysit to earn exactly the $250. So the H means that she can babysit for exactly 14.6 hours or more, so 15, 16, 17, and so on, to actually be able to earn the $250. Like we talked about a couple of our equation word problems, you have to think about the real situation. Is somebody really going to calculate how much to pay her for 14.6 of an hour? And we probably aren't. We just need to round that to 15 hours so that she knows that she is making exactly enough and she'll have a little bit more. Once we determine our solution, this really means that Missy can babysit for 15 or more hours to be able to have enough money to go to camp. Let's look at question 2. The youth soccer team is fundraising by washing cars. They paid $84.55 for supplies. If they charge $8 per wash, how many cars must be washed to profit at least $300? Filling in the information I know that I had to pay $84.55 for my supplies no matter what. So if I wash one car, I have to pay $84.55 for my supplies. If I wash 100 cars, I've already paid $84.55 for the supplies. I also know that my goal is to earn at least $300. That means that I could earn exactly $300 and be happy. I could earn 301 and be happy, 350. So the point here is that I need to get at least exactly 300 or more. Because of this, I'm going to use the greater than or equal to symbol. I also know that I'm going to earn $8 per wash. Again, that word per indicates to me that I'm going to be multiplying $8 times something. In this case, I'm solving for the W. I want to know how many cars must be washed. So I'm going to make my variable W for washes. I set up my inequality by multiplying 8 times my variable of W to figure out how many washes. Then I subtracted the $84.55 since I want a profit of $300. And I can't count that $84.55 as a profit since I had to pay that out of my pocket. So I'm going to take that off of what I end up earning, and then I want to make at least, so either more or equal to $300. Now I can set this up to solve. After solving, I get that W is greater than or equal to 48. And when I actually did this in my calculator, again, I got 48.06875. But I rounded this to 48. But we have to think about our final solution. And we need to think about, well, if I do only 48 cars, will that get me to 300? We could use substitution and substitute that answer, if we had rounded just to 48, into our original inequality and done 8 times 48 minus 84.55. That would actually give us $299.45, which actually would be less than 300. Since I can't actually round to 48, my actual answer needs to be 49. This means that if the soccer team is going to earn $300 in profit, that means after the supplies, they need to wash 49 cars or more. So as long as they wash 49, they'll meet their goal, but they could wash more and they would just earn more money. Next problem says Joanne has a bank account with $350 in it. Every week, she withdraws $12.50 to attend the movies. What is the maximum number of weeks that Joanne can withdraw the money without allowing her bank account to drop below $210? After reading the question, I know that right now Joanne has $350, and I also know that she spends $12.50 each week. What we need to know here is how many weeks can she go to the movies and still have $210. Again, I'm going to use the variable W, which will stand for the amount of weeks. Next, we need to set up our inequality. I'm going to use the greater than symbol because she needs to have at least $210. So that means that she would be happy with having a $210 or more in her bank account after this amount of weeks. On the other side of my inequality, I know that we're starting with 350. That's my beginning. And then my multiplier here is the $12.50 each week. So I'm going to take out of the 350 my $12.50 times my variable of W. So here I have 350 minus 12.50. W is greater than 210. And now I can solve this inequality and figure out what x equals. When I solved this inequality, I got to that situation where I ended up dividing by a negative, so my inequality symbol had to flip from a greater than symbol to a less than symbol. What this means in terms of my solution is that Joanne can go to the movies up to 11 weeks. So to be able to keep $210 in her account, she could go 10 weeks, 11 weeks, but she cannot go 12 weeks. Again, this means that she can go up to 11 weeks. Our final problem in today's note says a jet ski rental charges a flat rate of $75 plus an additional $60 per hour. You do not want to spend more than $200. How many hours can you rent the jet ski and still be under budget? After reading the situation, I know that I'm going to have a flat rate of $75. So no matter what, I have to pay $75. That means if I go 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, no matter what, it's $75. That's my beginning rate. Next, I know that my rental is $60 per hour. Again, that word per indicates that I'm going to be multiplying 60 times the amount of hours. that is my multiplier. And finally, I know I don't want to spend more than $200. So what I need to know is how many hours can I rent the jet ski? Since I'm solving for hours, I'm going to use h as my variable and say that h is hours. I'm going to set up my inequality. I know that I'm going to multiply that amount of hours times 60 because I have to pay $60 per hour. But I also have to pay $75. And since I also need to pay it, I'm going to add that $75. But I don't want to spend more than $200. So all of that needs to be less than $200. I have my inequality set up, I can solve. After solving, I get h is less than 2.1. Again, though, we need to think about this in terms of the situation and know that this needs to just round to 2 because they're not going to rent it to me for 0.1 of an hour. So what this means is I can rent the jet ski for up to 2 hours. That means I can rent the jet ski for either 1 hour or 2 hours, but I can't afford 3 hours with the amount of money I want to spend. Go ahead and summarize today's lesson in 2 to 3 complete sentences. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know what are you thankful for. In today's lesson, we learned how to solve inequalities in real life. By the end of this lesson, you were able to now construct and solve inequalities from real life situations. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye, guys.